Now president of the Club for Growth and a Republican strategist. So pardon me, here's a couple of different more quotes from Senator Klobuchar out there in 15-degree weather in Boom Island. Stop the fear-mongering and stop the hate. She said that we are the world's beacon of democracy where everyone matters. Again, some of the lines from the speech there today, adding that she supports automatic voter registration at age 18. So Joel, what in Senator Klobuchar's remarks stood out to you? More importantly, what remarks will resonate with voters in Minnesota and across this country?
Arthel, Senator Klobuchar is Donald Trump's worst nightmare. She's a strong woman with Midwestern roots, working class roots, and with a highly effective track record in the Senate. And she's gotten a lot done on a bipartisan level. And what struck me was how she spoke to both the coast and the Midwest. And she talked about, for example, a universal health care, which is a core objective of the progressive base of the Democratic Party. But she also spoke about a foreign policy that brings in our allies and works with an effort that really does include many factors that frankly are in the center and the mainstream of the Democratic political community. So she is trying to bridge the divides, and she's going to highlight her effectiveness as well at the hearings, and certainly with Brett Kavanaugh's hearing in particular, trying to demonstrate that she can ask tough questions, but be respectful, be different from what we're seeing in Washington, and be effective.
So, David, bringing you in now, Senator Klobuchar has not signed on to the Medicare for All legislation, the way I understand it, but she did say that she's for universal health care, also an advocate for universal background checks for gun purchases. How do you think this bodes for her presidential run?
She's signaling she's moving to the hard left. It was a real touch of irony that her first initiative was to tackle global warming in the middle of a snowstorm and 14-degree weather. It might be Mother Nature saying,
but you know that global warming,
really
you know global warming doesn't mean that it's literally hot. It can be cold.
Oh, yeah. That's why they changed it from global warming to climate change. But what she signed on to was this Green New Deal that will bring socialism. And the real consequence of that is I think she's given up the blue wall states in the Midwest, because there'll be millions of jobs lost in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania when the Democrats end up running on this far left program to restructure the economy, get rid of fossil fuels, and completely change the way of life for most families in those Midwest states.
Joel, let me get you back in here. Fellow Minnesota Senator Tina Smith was one of the pregame speakers there, mentioned Senator Klobuchar's support for Planned Parenthood. That's certainly not by chance. What do you make of that?
Well, clearly, Senator Klobuchar understands that she has to win in a crowded field, and getting the women's vote is going to be central to that. But I have to comment on the description of her as somehow far left, radical, and the portrayal of every Democrat is going to be the same. That's, of course, not factual. The facts are that Senator Klobuchar came out #1 in the last year at being an effective senator, at getting laws passed. And you can't do that when you're in the minority and the Republicans have the majority. She clearly understands how to work across the aisle.
Joel?
And so I think we're going to hear more of that.
Quickly, in fairness, David, I give you 30 seconds. I'm going to hit her hard out. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I would just point out the scorecard that the Club for Growth keeps on economic issues, and she's right down there with Chuck Schumer and the most radical Democrats in the Senate when it comes to voting on bills that affect the economy. She was for Obamacare, and it cost millions of jobs in the device industry that's critical to her home state of Minnesota.
All right, I have to leave it there. Joel Rubin, David McIntosh, thank you very much.